Yo, what's going on, Blackish fam? I hope all is well in your corner of the world. As everyone knows, Donda 2 came out. Kanye West released some new music. And I know there's some questions, right? People don't know how to get the new music. You need to buy the stem player. Well, we have a few of the tracks here. I definitely want to do a breakdown. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is B. This is Blackish University, Modern Day Griots. And what we do here, you might be asking yourself, what exactly is a griot, right? A griot is someone in Africa that would pass down information from one generation to the next, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And they did it through music. They did it through spoken word. They do it through poetry. But before written language, griots were extremely important to get information from one generation to the next. And I ask you, who are our griots today? Right? It's not the public school system. They can't even teach us about our own history. So we need to work with artists, right? We want to work with hip hop artists and rap artists and conscious rappers, and we want to extract the message that they're trying to really share with the masses. And one of my favorites is Kanye West. I'm from Chicago as well. Got mad respect for Kanye. And I think he's a misunderstood dude, but he's definitely, I think, one of the more intellectual artists of our generation. And I think a lot of times he's misunderstood, just like many artists are when you can't interpret their work, right? I listen to Aesop Rock. I listen to Toby Wigway, Montana of 300, Nas. And I've noticed the people that are like, nah, man, I'm not feeling that song. They don't have the intellectual capacity to process the song, and there's probably a lot of things that they just quite simply don't understand. And I think Kanye does that, and his lyrics might not need intellectual breakdowns from like a definition standpoint, but you have to interpret the meaning, and that's what we do here. We might take a 5-minute song, but it's a 40-minute breakdown, and I always say it's like unpacking a zip file, right? You get this 5-minute song, but there's so many different layers. There's so much different meaning, let alone when we see the video and the imagery that's attached to it. So, one of the first tracks, and man, if you're a fan of intellectual breakdowns, take a look at some of our playlists below. That's what we do here. Some of the more lyrically dense artists or complex artists, and Kanye West definitely fits under a complex artist. So this is Broken Road. This is on the Donda 2 album. We're gonna break it down. Let's check it out together. I'm excited. I haven't heard anything from the new album.
What does it mean to find your soul? Pay the toll on a broken road.
What does it mean to find your soul?
Pay the toll on a broken road.
That's deep. What does it mean to find your soul? Pay the toll on the broken road. Right, if you're paying a toll, think about, in Illinois, we have the iPass, right? It automatically deducts a certain amount when you're on a toll road. Why do you pay tolls? Well, it's for maintenance of the road, right? You have to pay a toll on the broken road because you have to fix it up. These things require maintenance. You can't just put it together. There could be a lot of meaning there, right? He's talking about pay the toll on the broken road. If you don't pay your toll, things are going to deteriorate, and eventually they're not going to be as strong as they once were, right? You could damage the foundation. He could be talking about his relationship with Kanye, with Kim Kardashian West, right? He could be talking about a lot of things. Maybe he didn't pay the toll. Maybe he's thinking, man, did I do enough work, right? Did I collect enough money on the toll to put this work in? And in his case, it's not money that he's lacking. It might be time. It might be energy. It might be passion.
Pay the toll on a broken road. Pay the toll on a broken road. What does it mean to find your soul?
Not really a long
Pay the
song.
toll on a broken road. Pay the toll on a broken road.
Baby, I'm free, like a homeless person. No matter how much you got, you can't own this person. Sometimes I feel like the only honest person. When somebody snatched your soul and karate didn't work. When you about to lose all hope, sun rose and open road.
Listen to what he's saying, right? Let's run that back.
Pain a toll on a broken road.
He said, "Baby, I'm free like a homeless person," right? Now you might be saying, well, "How is a homeless person free?" Well, listen to Mr. Wendell, right? For those who don't know, Mr. Wendell's a track from Arrested Development. No, Mr. Wendell. Mr. Wendell, yeah. Lord, Mr. Right? Mr. Wendell, he says, he gives me some knowledge. I buy him some shoes. Black spend all this money on big colleges. Still, most of y'all come out as fools. Go ahead, Mr. Wendell, right? I'm sure that's from his generation. He's referencing that. He said, Mr. Wendell has freedom, a freedom that you and I think is dumb. The society for Mr. Wendell's a bum, right? Bums have a lot of freedom. They can go where they want. They can do as they choose because they're not in the system that was created for us to work every day and hustle every day and buy these things that we don't need, that we leave empty all day to pay for the things that we don't need, that we leave empty all day. And we buy suits to go to work and be there all day and leave our houses empty and our kids at daycare and our cars parked outside. And we're just working to work to pay for these things, right? Now, who told us that that was the way that the world was supposed to be? But when you think about a homeless person, they're free, right? They're not restricted by to one place. They're not restricted by time. They can give their time to what they see fit. And one could argue that Kanye West is a homeless person. And you might be saying, "What? How is Kanye homeless? Kanye's a billionaire." Well, it takes a lot to make a house, to make a home a house, right? Or make a house a home, however you want to consider it. But he's got so much money that he can wander the earth, right? He doesn't have to stop. He doesn't, Mama said I was a rolling stone. Wherever I lay my hat is my home. And that's good and bad, right? Because you don't settle down in one place and establish roots because you're always on the go. So I think he is free. He's free like a homeless person, but he doesn't lack money, but he lacks roots, right? He's not able to plant roots down. And I think that's a good interpretation of what he's saying there.
What does it mean to find your soul? Pay the toll on a broken road. Pay the toll on a broken road.
Baby, I'm free, like a homeless person. No matter how much you got, you can't own this person.
Yeah. See, listen, he just really confirmed that. He said, no matter how much you got, you can't own this person, right? I'm a billionaire. I don't need money. My kids don't need money, and more than likely, my kids don't need money, right? They said no matter what you got, you can't own this person, right? I'm homeless. Wherever I lay my hat is my home, right? We can travel the world together, and again, that's good and bad.
This person, no matter how much you got, you can't own this person. Sometimes I feel like the only honest person. When somebody snatch your soul at karate didn't work. When you own this person, when somebody snatch your.
He said, sometimes I feel like the only honest person. And when you're a real one, right? When you're a real dude, I'm not talking about these fake CB4 rappers. I'm not talking about these fake artists that want to, Tekashi 6ix9ine and even some of the newer generation artists that you might think of as cool. Because sometimes when you're a real person, you see the world burning around you. And you look around and people are just walking by, and you hear things like the presidential election was huge, right? Donald Trump, Joe Biden. I'd hate talking to my friends and I'm like, yo, what do you guys think about it? And they're like, man, that doesn't bother me, man. I got to go to work at 7 a.m. tomorrow, either way. And it's like, man, these decisions matter, right? Talk about Black Lives Matter. Who you put in political office matters, right? These small time elections matter. These local judges matter, right? So it's like sometimes when you're an honest person or even a real person, you think you're going crazy. Because you look around and it seems like so many people are just doing their day to day. They're just comfortable with this 9 to 5 grind and going home and trying to get a little overtime and putting a little money on it, right? And put $12 on pump four, and they don't look up to see the world and what's going on in the world. It kind of reminds me of that song, "What's Going On?" I said, "Hey, hey, hey," right? I take a big puff and I go outside and I say, "Hey, what's going on?" Right? Because you'll think you're going crazy because people aren't thinking about getting money. I hate when I see the kids and they're like, "Man, I put in 60 hours at work this week. Killed it, bro." And I'm like, "Man, I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad you're getting your money and you're not out here on these streets, but don't be proud about working for the man and slaving away your time. You're trading your time for money. That's the old flex. The new flex is freedom, right? It's being homeless, right? That's the new flex. Waking up in the morning and saying, "Ugh, woo, what am I going to get in today?" Or "Who am I going to get into today?" Right? It's having the freedom to make decisions. It's not necessarily the money, but money is typically what gets you that freedom, right? When you're the only honest person, or you're trying to be real and you're trying to, I know Kanye West is from Chicago. That's inside of us, right? We are some of the realest people that I've ever met in the world, right? And I've traveled the country. There's something about Chicago that's different. But I'm sure I could look Kanye West eye to eye and be like, "What up, fam?" And we can have an intellectual conversation. And guess what? He's probably not crazy, right? It's normally the people that think outside the box. Think about look at the title of some of his records, right? Pablo. Think about the different Pablos of the world and why they were considered crazy, because they were a little bit outside of the box. More times than not, when you think of a genius, you normally would describe them as someone that doesn't get along well with others, right? They got there before their time, and I definitely think Kanye West was.
Sometimes I feel like the only honest person when somebody snatch your soul and karate didn't work. When you about to lose all hope, sun rose
Now
and
that's
open roads. What did the
snatch your soul is different, right? That reference, there's an urban meaning. Snatch your soul could be sexual, right? When you're giving it to a girl sexually and she's losing her mind, they say, "Girl, I'm gonna snatch that soul about you," right? I don't know if they say it like that with that sort of passion, but there's a meaning to that that's sexual. When you snatch the soul out of a woman and you're breaking her down, right? Her legs are kicking in the air. She's losing her mind, speaking in tongues, right? Snatch the soul out of her. But it's a little bit different, right? I think there could be a Karate Kid reference in there. I'm not exactly sure. Let me know if you guys below have a different interpretation of what that might mean.
surgeon really to lose all hope? Sun rose and open roads. Like the only honest person when somebody snatch your soul and karate didn't work. When you about to lose all hope, sun rose and open roads. What did the surgeon really the serpent? I paid for BBLs and Birkins. That wasn't me, that was Tyler Durden. I ain't gonna lie, Tyler Spurgeon.
Yo, he's saying so much there, right? And you can interpret that differently. He said, when you're about to lose all hope, the sun rose and opened roads. The sun rose. That's a weird way of saying that. I think of Amber Rose. I wonder if there's a little play on words there. But, listen to what he said. He said, what if the surgeon is really the serpent? Now, I can anticipate that differently. If any of you guys have watched Genius, I'm going to definitely do a reaction video and share some of the information from Genius. Remember, his mom died while getting surgery, right? Wasn't she under anesthesia when she passed away? And you think about that, right? A lot of artists say, "Man, I wonder if I died because I feel like I did a deal with the devil." You hear people saying that, reference DMX when he talks about Damien. Look at Left Eye that died from TLC. Look at these different artists that have these alter egos, right? And they always name it something different. Look at Snoop Dogg, Murder Was the Case, right? He says, I closed my eyes and I was supposed to be paralyzed. I couldn't walk again, talk again, right? And he said that he was in the hospital room and he saw these green eyes and he made a deal because somebody said, "Yo, give me your life and I'll make it good for you forever. You won't want for anything." And he said, "My eyes closed. Murder was a case that they gave me," right? And he talks about, man, I could walk again, talk again. I got back to normal, and everything that dude said came true. I'm a superstar. I've been rich and famous my whole life. But what did you give up, right? Now look at Left Eye and TLC. What did they give up? Look at Damien and DMX. What did DMX give up? Look at these struggles that they have to go through. Kanye West, right? He hit his head on the steering wheel, busted up his stuff. What happens? He becomes a overnight sensation. What did he give up? Because some of the money, and his mom is doing surgery, and he lost the lady that he loves the most. Is there something there, right? There's a lot of conspiracy theorists behind that. But listen to what he said. What if the surgeon is really the serpent? Now, when you think of serpents, right, you normally think of something evil. What if the surgeon was evil that was operating on his mother? What if he made a deal? Not that he would make a deal to lose his mom knowingly, right? But normally when you hear about these deals, they're mischievous, right? A lot of people talk about imps. They talk about genies, and you think about that genies. There's a reason that they're locked away in a bottle, right? You get 3 wishes, but they play with you. They're known throughout history for being relatively evil. So you say, man, I want me a big ass the dick, right? And then all of a sudden you got elephantitis, right? And you got this big mess. I'm like, what am I gonna do with this thing, right? You go some bestiality, right? Or man, I wish for $10 million. All of a sudden there's money all in your room. Then the FBI is banging on the door, right? So there's a lot of urban legend when it comes to getting wealthy, getting rich, becoming an overnight sensation, and then tragedy happens. And a lot of people kind of correlate the two, and you have to say, is there something to this, or is it correlation, not causation, right? In college, they say, I walked into psychology class when I was a youngster, and on the backboard it said, ice cream causes crime. And you're just like, what? Ice cream causes crime? Well, no, it's correlated. It's correlation, not causation. When people are more likely to eat ice cream, it's normally warmer weather. Warmer weather, more people are outside, more people are doing crimes. So warmer weather equals higher crime rate, but ice cream equals warmer weather. So they're correlated, but it's not necessarily the cause. Ice cream isn't causing violence, right? So it's important to think about those concepts. And again, this is what I mean about being a genius. There's a minute and 1 minute and 41 seconds is the length of this song, but it's creating conversation, right? It's creating intellectual conversation. That's not that's by design, right? That's no mistake. Kanye West is able to do that. Just like Nas can paint a picture and Black Thought can get you like you feel like you're reading an encyclopedia, Kanye West can get you thinking about other things by just a minute 30 seconds, right?
Love isn't perfect, love is a version of being a virgin. Tired of dirt, and I ain't gonna lie, get tired of splurging. Love isn't perfect, love is a version of being a virgin again. In work, when you about to lose all hope, somebody on this person. Sometimes I feel like the only honest person. When somebody snatch your soul and karate didn't work. When you about to lose all hope, sun rose and open roads. What if the surgeon, really the serpent? I paid for BBLs and Birkins. That wasn't me, that was time.
I knew I missed something there. He said I paid for BBLs and Birkins, right? You might be asking yourself, what is a BBL? That's a Brazilian butt lift, right? He's meeting these chicks. I don't know if he's referring to Kim Kardashian. I know she had some work done on her ass that didn't go well, right? Because I know it was getting a little weird there at one point. I don't know if she made some variety of things, but yeah, he's saying he didn't necessarily say Kim K, but he's paid for BBLs and Birkin bags. Birkin bags are a whole other story, but he's saying like, yo, I put in this work. It's not the same type of work that we might be accustomed to, but he's putting in work. Just a little random trivia. A lot of people, if you don't know what a Birkin bag is, that's a Hermes. A lot of people pronounce it Hermes, right? The brand. Hermes Birkin bags, they're some of the most expensive bags in the world. Now, even the lower range of that bag is like $9,000, but they can go up to $500,000, right? The bags really embody absolute luxury, right? I'm sure you guys might have heard of Birkin bags. You'll normally see a huge bag on a woman, and it looks a little bit different there's a lot of fakes out there. You wouldn't see a Birkin bag unless it's somebody who's normally, they might be driving a Rolls Royce or at least a Mercedes of some sort or a higher end car. Not that Mercedes is in that. When you get to that category, you're buying Birkin bags. Mercedes can be a lower end car, depending on the Mercedes, I guess, right? But a lot of people say that Birkin bags can be a better investment than gold on the stock market. So there's a lot known for it. If you guys don't know the story, I don't know if you guys. I give you the story really quick. So why are Birkin bags so expensive, right? Where does the name come from? Well, the story of the bag actually starts with the name Birkin. It's actually named after someone named Jane Birkin. Supposedly there was a flight that was like from Paris to London, and Jane Birkin's an actress, right? She's sitting on a flight, and she's actually by the one of the executives of Hermes. His name was John Dumas. But basically, the flight's about to get ready for takeoff, and Jane was carrying this it was like this kind of wicker. I don't know if it was a basket or a purse, but she used it for groceries, for diapers, anything that she wanted. But when she tried to put it in the overhead compartment, things were falling, things were spilling out. And then she started complaining to the executive from Hermes that there's not a bag that she likes that's like a weekend bag. And then supposedly they spent the entire trip actually designing and coming up with ideas for the bag. And that's exactly where it came from. So he introduced himself and he said he was the head of Hermes. Basically, a year later, they came out with the Birkin bag. It's supposed to be a spacious, yet it's not just a high end, but it's supposed to be like sophisticated, right? Leather design, everyday use, really functional. You can seal it up. You can prevent anything from spilling. And they use just the highest end materials, right? Alligator skin, ostrich skin, and then every bag is made by hand. So again, if you're looking for a Birkin bag, be prepared to spend some serious dough. And to be quite honest, you can't even buy one like that anymore. There's such a there used to be a waiting list, right, for a bag, a Birkin bag. But now what they do is you're more likely chosen to receive a Birkin bag, and you can't even decide what color unless you're somebody like Kanye West, right? But there's a huge resale market for them. Let's get back to the music here.
Tyler Durden, I ain't gonna lie, get tired of splurging. Love isn't perfect, love is a version. It wasn't me, that was Tyler Durden. I ain't gonna lie, get
Yo, that's a huge.
L's and Burkins, that wasn't me, that was Tyler Durden. I ain't gonna lie.
He said that wasn't me, that was Tyler Durden. And for those that know and have been following Kanye West, you know that he considers himself affected by bipolar disorder, right? Bipolar, most people think you can't balance your emotions. You can go from cold to hot. It's an actual condition, though. It's not something he could easily control. But Tyler Durden, that takes it to a whole other level. Tyler Durden, for those that know Fight Club, that's the narrator of Fight Club. That's like it's more than his alter ego. That's his split personality. He has something called dissociative identity disorder, sometimes referred to as DID. It's something that's rare. Back in the day, people used to call it multiple personality disorder. It's been in a lot of films over the decades, right? You could see someone like Sybil. What is it? There's a variety that have that where they're was it Wolf? What was that one with Samuel Jackson, right? Where he's got to do with the crazy hair, Glass or something, where his bones break. So there's a lot of things, but Kanye West does struggle. And if you have the symptoms of DID or dissociative identity disorder, it can be memory loss for time periods, people, because you're jumping between identities, right? And that person he could be Kanye West and he could be Ye, right? And Ye might be super outgoing, but Kanye West is very depressed. Ooh, that rhymes, right? But you could have a sense of being detached from your emotions or detached from yourself. The perception of people and the things around you might seem distorted and unreal because you're experiencing them at another time, almost like deja vu, right? So you have a blurred sense of identity. And I think that's a lot coming from Kanye West because we know he struggles with bipolar disorder. So to say, man, that wasn't me, that was Tyler Durden, it's almost like I've listened to some Tyler the Creator, right? He has an alter ego or another person that he says is his therapist, right? TC, Dr. TC, and that's Tyler the Creator, right? So, I just, in the movie, I think the dude is like, it's who he wishes he could be. So that's deep, man.
I get tired of splurging. Love isn't perfect. Love is a version of being a virgin again. I was told it's how you interpreted it. Paid the toll.
That's deep. He said, "I'm not gonna lie. I got tired of splurging." Splurging is like when you're splurging on things, right? Whether it be Birkin bags or Brazilian butt lifts or cars. At a certain point, you have so much money that you can't run out of money. You can just have a concert and just talk to people and probably make $1 million and do a worldwide tour, right? Now, money is not the issue anymore, but at some point you get bored, you get tired of splurging, right? And then he said, yo, love isn't perfect. Love is a version of being a virgin again. Get the play on words with version and virgin. But why? When you're a virgin, man, you're thirsty you're thirsty for it, right? You're doing things kind of slow. You're trying to play the role of Mr. Nice Guy. Well, love isn't perfect either, right? Love is a version of that because you got to walk on eggshells sometimes. You got to bite your tongue to make the right move. You got to compromise, and you probably haven't had to do these things since you were a virgin because you're like, man, I'm gonna get that thing, right? I'm gonna do what I have to do, and you're kind of a slave to that. Yo, when you're in love, you become a slave, and it's a different reason, right? You don't want to disappoint. You want to provide. You want to be this person, and you have to live up to that expectation. Not necessarily to get the P, but you want to get the heart, right? Yo, that's deep.
Paid the toll. It's how you interpreted it. Paid the toll. Paid the toll. Paid the toll. Paid the toll.
What does it mean to find your soul? Pay the toll on a broken road.
He's paying his dues right now, right? All this drama.
Pay the toll on a broken road. What does it mean to find your soul? Pay the toll on a broken road.
You gonna come with another verse? I don't think so. This is only a minute so long. Oh yeah, that's it for Kanye. Man, that's deep, right? So Kanye West again. For a lot of people, I don't think they understand Kanye, right? A lot of people, if you don't know his music, if you haven't heard his music before, there's a good chance that you don't understand it. Understand what he's trying to say. I think this is a dude that struggles with his emotions. I'm really excited to get into some new work from him. Man, if you're a fan of the intellectual breakdowns and the taking our time to dissect the lyrics, don't forget to like the video, but also subscribe to the channel. We do some of today's more lyrically dense artists or complex artists, and you'll see in the playlist below, we take our time to really understand the meaning and get the context of the lyrics. Shout out Chicago. We'll see you on the next video.